made. My name is Amanda.
And I'm Kristin.
And we are the Exorcisters. So sit back, relax, and let's get serious for just a minute.
It'll be fast.
So if you don't want to hear us get a little preachy about something incredibly important that you really do need to pay attention to, I'd skip ahead probably a minute and a half or 2 minutes and we'll get into Ready or Not, which is our 13th hype episode. So thank you for being here for that. But real quick, we are going to talk about the news that broke this week about the Amazon rainforest burning to the ground.
Yes, it has been burning for 17 days.
Right.
And now it's just coming out.
Mm-hmm. I've seen it circulating for like 2 days now.
Yeah, that was me too. It just popped up randomly on Instagram.
Yep.
Seriously?
And Kristin and I don't talk about this a ton, but we're both really passionate about climate, which, I mean, everyone should be, since you live here and
it's your planet.
Right, you should take care of it.
Yeah.
But we actually have drastically changed the way that we live.
Yes.
Around this.
And now we're working on really trying to reduce plastic consumption because the planet is struggling right now.
Yes.
There are too many of us doing what we want when we want it.
And while that's kind of, especially in Western culture, something that we have created as a mantra, like you work hard for something, you treat yourself, you do whatever you want, you eat whatever you want, but that's not going to keep us alive.
Right.
And I've seen some really scary reports of human extinction a lot earlier than you would think.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, maybe it's exaggerating, but it's like 7 years, you guys.
Yeah. According to like this PhD that has studied this since the 60s and watched humans focus. And he says the root of all of this is actually human evil.
Yeah. And this was long before the Amazon thing.
This was
just came
in
out.
2018. Yes.
Right.
This article, actually it was a paper. It wasn't even an article. It was like pages and pages and pages long of research. And so the only reason we're bringing this up is because real quick, it's important to us. I feel like we're going to lose some listeners for this, but that's totally fine. Just a few things that we're doing and that you can do to reduce your footprint here on Earth. The biggest thing you can do, honestly, is not have kids. But for some people, first of all, that's already done. And second of all, some people just want a family, and I totally understand that.
Right.
So that aside, the second thing is not using a car, and that is
That's
sometimes
also really difficult.
impossible for some of us.
I'm going to be moving 45 minutes away from my job. I'm going to have a car, unfortunately.
You don't have public transportation going from one city to another with that much highway in between.
Exactly.
And so it's really difficult for that. So let's just put these two major things aside that would be helpful. I personally don't have children, and I've always been on the fence about wanting children, but with the way that things are headed, it's scarier than a horror movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't want to bring a child into this world without a world for them to live in, and that's not their fault.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to put that burden and that quality of life on that when it does start to get shitty.
I mean, global warming is a thing. I know there's people that don't believe that it is a problem. And let's just look at the Amazon thing right now. The Amazon rainforest, it's 20% of our oxygen on this planet. This whole planet, 20% of our oxygen, if that is gone. And then the CO2 gases that it is releasing right now by burning is just going to cause more greenhouse effects, more global warming. We're just heating up the planet even more.
Sea levels are rising.
We're just causing more and more problems.
I mean, look in Greenland and Serbia and Alaska, there are forest fires rampant there too. July was globally the warmest month in history.
Yes, that
ever.
is proven.
And just because you're like, it wasn't that hot where I live, I'm not talking about specifically where you live in like Kansas. I'm talking about everywhere. Across the world. So maybe you can't cut out your car completely, but it was a really short trip we just took, but we carpooled.
Exactly.
We took one car.
Nope. That's why I wanted to do that. You were like, should we meet there? I was like, no, let's carpool.
Flying less, switching to a green energy provider, and changing what you eat and buy is kind of what this is saying. So one thing that is very controversial, and I don't even typically tell people this is what I am, and I don't like doing this because you immediately get slapped with this crazy extremist label, but I am vegan.
Yes.
And yes, there were a lot of reasons for that. One of them was my hormones. I have huge hormonal problems, as you know. I switched to vegetarian almost 2 years ago, just recently changed over to being vegan, very recently. But even when I was vegetarian, my hormones got better. But also animal ethics is involved in this. Yeah. But one of the biggest reasons, and probably the biggest reason that I decided, okay, I'm done with dairy as well, is climate change. Because the meat industry is using up all of our resources for farming.
And we're not even saying cut out meat entirely right now.
No.
I understand that's hard. I'm still working on it. I've cut out pork and beef. I'm still working on chicken. I struggle a little bit with that. But even cutting it down just a little bit reduces our risk on the planet by so much.
Exactly. So this little article, this is a BBC article actually, and it's not like, you know, vegan news or anything. I'm not trying to spread vegan propaganda. No. That's not the point here. But basically, it says if cattle were their own nation, they would be the world's third largest emitter of greenhouse gases behind the US and China. The meat industry contributes to global warming in 3 major ways, which is methane from cows, obviously. We feed them other potential sources of food like maize and soy, which is inefficient, and they require a lot of water, fertilizers, and land. It's one of the reasons the Amazon's burning down.
We've gone way over our 2 minutes, and I'm so sorry, you guys. But yeah, that's what we were getting at, is we're not just saying don't eat meat, but we're saying the reason why the Amazon is having problems is mostly because human beings burn down the rainforest to create land for these animals to eat so that we can eat them. This is the problem right here. It's just perpetuating itself. Yep.
Just being flexitarian, which is what they call it, so cutting your animal protein in half can reduce your diet's carbon footprint by more than 40%. Social scientists have found that when one person makes a sustainably oriented decision, other people do too. So the mentality of, well, I'm just one person and this is a huge global problem. What can I do? I can tell you that I started researching a vegan diet because one of my friends went vegan, and now it has touched all of us.
Yes.
So sorry that went a little over 2 minutes.
Yeah, definitely.
It's just really heavy, and that's something that's really important to us. And it's not like we're celebrities that have a huge platform, but we have you guys that listen. And if you took anything from this, I just ask yourself, what bad habits do I have are harming the planet? And in return, all of humanity.
Right. And we won't do this all the time, you guys. We're sorry.
This is the first time we've done it.
Yep.
And that's that. So
on to our movie.
On to things that make us happy.
Yeah.
Was this movie, actually.
Yes.
Ready or Not shocked the hell out. We weren't even going to see this movie.
We weren't. You guys, actually, we were like, do we want to do a hype? Should we do it? And then you guys voted for it, and we're like, okay, we'll go.
Yep, we did an Instagram poll, and we were like, should we do 47 meters down or Ready or Not? And Ready or Not won. But even
By the way, thank you.
Yes. Man, I really wanted to see the fish screaming, though.
I have some things. Some year we'll do 47 meters down because I have some things to say. They're not good. Apparently
the sequel would have been great for you. So I didn't see much marketing about Ready or Not until actually right up until about I saw like some trailers hitting theaters maybe a couple months ago. But I was like, should we see that? And we were like, I don't really know anything about it.
Well, nobody knew what it was about. Even when we went there, the trailers. So we've been seeing horror movies. The trailers in front are usually horror movie trailers. There were 5-6 trailers. One of them was a horror movie.
And it wasn't it. It was Dr. Sleep.
Yeah.
I was like, there was no It trailer. Maybe it's because everyone knows It's coming out in like 2 weeks. And so about a week and a half.
Yeah. It comes out on the 6th, I think.
Oh my God, I can't fucking wait. We already have our tickets.
We do. We're ready.
I already have one of the collector's cups from Cinemark. When we went and saw Ready or Not, they had the little It Chapter 2 cups. And I was like, I want that. So didn't really have any expectations, which is good. It looked like something I would enjoy. I really like movies like You're Next and Would You Rather and like those literally like The Strangers and Hush where someone's literally just being hunted. It's fun. It's not really a slasher. It's more like The Most Dangerous Game, that short story that a lot of us read in high school. It's very similar.
Which, by the way, just a really quick side, that sounds a lot like what The Hunt was going to be about, that Blumhouse did, and they had to pull it because of the shootings in El Paso and stuff.
I think they renamed it.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they renamed it. I don't think it's called The Hunt anymore.
Interesting. I know they pulled it. Like, I don't think they're doing it anymore.
Oh, it is literally The Most Dangerous Game. Well, I hope that it eventually gets its release because I think that we've talked about before, horror is kind of a violent outlet that people can take without doing any harm to anybody.
Also, The Most Dangerous Game was a great book, or great story.
It was so good.
That would be a great horror movie.
I mean, I think I read it in like 8th grade, which was middle school, and it's still, I remember it. Yeah. I remember the title, and there aren't a lot of short stories or poems.
That
or
you remember from school, right?
Right, exactly. Especially ones that wasn't like as iconic as like To Kill a Mockingbird.
Exactly.
You know, so I didn't have high expectations, but I didn't have low ones either because it looked like it was just kind of what it was. Like, it could be pretty good or it could be like really fucking boring and cheesy and campy.
Funny. It could have been, we didn't know.
Exactly.
Which was pretty cool.
And so basically the whole premise of this movie is this woman marries into this wealthy family, which wealth is the fucking devil.
Yes.
I'm okay to be poor. I'm good.
And that's basically what it shows you. I mean, through the whole thing, you're just sitting there going, rich people are gross. Like, they're just disgustingly wealthy.
Yeah, these aren't just like you're like, this is like, they're like Oprah rich. Like, maybe they have this gaming dynasty, I think is what they call it.
And it's like 3-4 generations out at this point.
Yeah. And so they have just fuck ton of money. And this woman is marrying one of the sons of the mecca that is this family. And she has to be initiated into the family on their wedding night by playing a game.
Yes. Which, honestly, kind of a cute tradition if you're just trying to bring her into the fold. That's kind of cool.
Like, if you're playing, like, Scrabble.
Exactly. If you're not, like, going to kill her. But just, like, regularly, that'd be kind of cool.
Right. And it's not like every person that's brought into this family, spoiler alert, they try to kill.
Like, one of them says she gets chess or something like that. Yeah. So they get different games. They have to, like, roll a little thing and it picks the game.
Yeah. And it's like a card that comes out of this little box that is old and it's been in the family since the beginning that they started this generation. But you can tell there's something, like, super off. It's not just like a normal game. Obviously, we know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But you don't know why it's going to happen, which is the interesting part at the end that I was like, I kind of like that.
I agree. I really liked this movie. This was really freaking entertaining.
I'm going to buy it.
Yes, definitely.
I would watch this again 100%.
It was funny, but not like
stupid.
Scary movie funny, like where it's stupid funny. No, it was funny.
Because that's not my kind of comedy. I cannot stand Scary Movie. I cannot stand Will Ferrell.
It's dark humor.
Yes.
It's great.
Yeah. It's good horror movie fan humor.
Yes.
And so she draws this card and they're being very cryptic. Like, the man she's marrying hasn't told her anything. And the family's like, if she pulls the card, we're going to have to, are you going to do what you have to do? And he's like, no, whatever. It's not going to happen. She pulls hide and seek and she's laughing about it. And everyone just gets so somber.
And everyone really liked her. Everyone.
Yeah. Even the matriarch of the family loves her.
They're so upset when this happens because they really liked her.
They have to hunt her now.
Yes.
And it was interesting to see, like, the secondhand awkwardness I got because she's like, hide and seek. Like, I really have to go hide? And she's like, laughing it off. And they're like, oh. Because she has no idea. So she's just, they play this record, which is kind of like the play on, like, cliche horror movie scary records, you know, and, like, old songs that are very ritualistic. And it's really good. And it's pretty, like, really Bobby. And so she goes and runs off and hides.
But really quick.
Yeah.
The patriarch of the family, he makes a comment to her. She goes, so there's basically no way for me to win this game. And he goes, well, you could stay hidden until morning. I don't understand. Why was that not an okay thing? If she could stay hidden until morning, that seems to me like she could stay in the family. Like, she's smart enough to do that.
Yeah. Except they all explode.
Even
if she wins.
Which is fucking... Okay, whatever.
We'll get there.
It's great. It's great. But that was my only problem. I'm like, let her stay hidden until morning. That sounds cool.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But they can't.
No.
Because then they'll die.
Yeah.
Apparently.
In the best way.
Yeah. So she goes to hide and she's not taking it seriously. So she hides in this dumbwaiter. And she's like, I'm so bored of this. This is so stupid. I'm just going to come out so they can find me. And she comes out and she gets into her new husband, finds her, drags her into a bedroom. And there's like a maid or like a nanny or something standing in the room that they're in, and they're hiding. And this cokehead sister comes in and shoots the help, and that's the first time that our main character, Grace, realizes, oh shit, they're looking for me to kill me.
I mean, talk about your privilege showing, because this cokehead sister, she's fucking on everything, first of all, and then she gets so upset when she kills people wrong. Like, she burst into
just
tears.
Can't do
yes,
it.
like fucking.
Not because she
Paris
killed
Hilton or
someone,
something.
but because she killed the wrong person.
Yes, or the wrong way, or oh my fucking god, her privilege is showing.
And they're like, well, we killed someone, won't that work? And the patriarch of the family was like, no, it has to be the bride.
Go fucking marry her real quick. Ceremony outside. Dead body.
Well, and that's what, like, is, just don't get married. Just be with this person forever and don't marry them.
But he does make a comment on that she wanted to get married, and if they didn't, she was going to leave him. Yeah. And if he told her what was going on, she was going to leave him.
I mean, if this was my boyfriend's family and he was like, all right, here's the deal. We can just be together and for the rest of our lives and not be married. Or we can get married and there might be a chance my family kills you. I'd be like, how much money do you have? I'll just be your girlfriend. It's fine.
Yeah, right, exactly.
So, I mean, marriage is just a piece of paper and apparently the most dangerous game. So.
All of this is like some pact with the devil or something.
Exactly.
Labales?
Some man that the great-grandfather met when he started this made a pact with the devil.
Yeah.
And so every time somebody new was brought into this dynasty, this gaming dynasty as they call it, I'm talking board games, I'm not talking like obviously like video games, but it was brought into this family, then they would have to do this ritual of play a game with them. And if they drew hide and seek, they have to kill her before dawn as a sacrifice to Satan.
Yeah. Which they're already doing sacrifices to Satan.
Goats.
We find a barn and there's a little like hole where they put sacrificed goat bodies in. What the fuck?
Yes. So
with this family.
They literally made a deal with the devil for their wealth.
Yes.
And they have to continue these rituals and traditions.
Sounds like all rich people to me.
Exactly. And so they do. And one of those things is if hide and seek is drawn, you have to kill her by dawn or else.
Or they all die.
Yes. Or else. They don't know how they die. They don't know what happens. But you kind of hear them talking about this other family that their house just randomly burned down. And they're like, well, that's not really how they died. It was because of this pact with the devil. The cool thing is, though, I never didn't like the main character, Grace.
Oh, yeah, she was good.
The whole time you're rooting for her. It's not like she's disposable and you're like, oh my god, you're such a stupid fucking bitch. She does a lot of stuff that's actually pretty smart.
Even him, her husband, now, you're like, oh my god, come on, go save her. And
yeah, and so he finds her, and there are all these servant passageways inside the house. So he leads her down one, and he tells her he's going to go to unlock the security systems because the house is on lockdown because obviously they don't want her to leave.
Right.
So they have a distinct advantage. They know the house inside and out, servants' quarters or not.
But they keep going back and forth on tradition or not. So they talk about things like, oh, we have to have the security cameras off because that's not traditional. That's not what would happen 100 years ago when
but then
made
they
this
get
pact.
Desperate.
But they lock the doors down and shit with technology. How is that not cheating your tradition?
That's true. Picking and choosing.
Yes.
Yeah. Eventually they do get desperate because she's actually like, she's still in her wedding dress and everything. Her husband he's like, grab your shoes. And she rips her wedding dress so she can run because it's long and flowy. It's got a train, right? So she's pretty smart. She's not like that dumb bitch that you're like, oh my fucking god, take your fucking heels off.
Right.
She rips that dress real quick.
Oh yeah, she grabs a gun at some point. Like she's smart. She goes back into a room where no one is and grabs a fucking
where
gun
she
that
saw
she
the
knew
weapons
was there.
Yep.
And shit like that. She's pretty smart. She loses her gun at one point and she smashes a pot over some dude's face. She's quick.
Pours boiling water on him. She fights really hard because she just gets so scared, but then again so done at some point.
Yeah.
Where she's just like screaming and fuck it. If I'm going out, I'm fighting. Yeah. She gets some really brutal injuries.
I love the OnStar dude.
Yeah.
She gets in the car and has to call OnStar to like get the fucking cops to come help her because people are trying to kill her.
Because she finally escapes the house.
Yes. And instead he shuts the car down because they reported it stolen by her. And she's just like cussing him out and it's great.
Fuck you, Justin.
She's like,
okay, ma'am.
She
Goodbye.
calms down for a second. She goes, Justin, you still there? He's like, yes, ma'am. She goes, fuck you, Justin.
So there's this whole, there's not a ton of like plot here. It's just them running through the house trying to find her. There's some really good humor. The cokehead's husband that married into the family, he's like watching YouTube videos on how to use a crossbow because that's the weapon they gave him. More servants get killed, and he has a brother. So our main character's husband has a brother that's real sweet on her as well, and he's an alcoholic because you can tell he's very conflicted living in this family with what they have to do. And he saw this happen as a child.
He helped them as a child, is what you find out.
The rule is if you find the bride or the victim or whoever's marrying into the family, you have to yell for everyone else to come to you and take care of it.
Yep.
If you haven't. So he gives her like some head starts when he catches her. There is one point when he does find her and he ends up taking her in because his father is watching.
Yeah.
But he does feel really bad for her.
Well, and he's poisoned all of them. So, yeah, he takes her in, and he's like, yeah, sure, I'm helping you out, and he poisons all of them.
So, basically, what you missed there is when they finally catch her, because, again, just has been a bunch of cat and mouse. When they finally catch her, they strap her down to a table on a pentagram, and
because they're going to sacrifice her.
Right, to the devil, and they have to ritualistically drink from this cup. Now, her husband has been handcuffed to a bed because they know he's trying to help her.
Yeah, I still call BS on this whole fucking thing.
Yeah, he took his handcuffs and sawed the bed.
I'm sorry, rich people do not have, like, cheap-ass furniture. There's no way. It's a strong post of wood that his handcuffs are wrapped around that he just saws through. Bullshit. Fucking bullshit.
Movie logic.
Yeah, right? Exactly.
It's movie logic. So he fucking gets out, and she is still running through the house before she's actually caught. She gets caught and wins a couple different times.
Yeah.
She's been shot in the hand.
Yeah.
She's got a slice through her back from trying to get through their wrought iron fence. And she slammed her hand down on a fucking nail at some point. She's
fucked up.
She's fucked up, yeah. But she's still fighting, and she gets back into the house after being caught a couple times. And her husband's mother, who actually really liked her, still understands that she's got to protect her family and kill this woman. But the mom calls out the son and is like, I think when it comes down to it, you'll choose your family. And he said, no, she's my everything. She is good and she makes me feel normal. And she's like, but she doesn't know you better than I do. And I think you'll choose your family. And then he walks in on his new wife killing his mother.
I don't think he would have. I don't think he would have chosen his family except
he saw her kill
somebody
his mother.
He thought was good and pure killing someone.
Okay, but also fight or flight, and if flight's taken off the table, you're gonna fight for your life.
No, I
don't know
agree.
how. Yeah, I don't know why he would blame her, but I guess that's that raw, like, that's your mommy, you know, like that's like the deepest instinct we have is to want our mothers as children, you know. And so he saw his wife pummeling the shit out of his mother's face with that fucking box.
Yeah,
it was brutal. Awesome. And so he says, "You're gonna leave me now, aren't you?" And she doesn't really say anything. And then he grabs her and yells for his family. And that's when they tie her down. And they all are drinking from this little goblet. And her fucking husband yells, "Hell, Satan," and goes to stab her. But before he does that,
she turns.
And everyone has started, like, puking. The brother that felt sorry for her has poisoned them. And so she's now gotten out of the situation twice.
Yeah.
Got poisoned, and then she just is badass.
Yeah, and she's got this knife in her fucking shoulder, and all of a sudden it's dawn, and she's not supposed to live to see the dawn. And she does, and then they all start fucking exploding, and it's so good.
Yeah, so at first they're like, oh,
we lived.
Nothing's happening.
They're like vampires. They see the light, and they're like, oh god. They're like trying to hide from it. Like it's gonna burn them.
It's the most dramatic thing ever.
So
and then they're like, oh, nothing's happening. And then this aunt character is like, I'm gonna kill her anyways. And right before she swings an axe, she just literally explodes.
Yes, just blood.
There were just like
and
blood flying everywhere. And then they all just start taking their turns exploding. And her husband starts pleading with her. I don't know why he's pleading with her. I guess he's desperate. There's not anything she can do about it. And he explodes right in her face, and she just starts laughing maniacally. And she goes, and the house is now starting to burn down, and she goes and sits on the steps and waits for the cops.
Yeah, but she does see the devil.
She does, and
that's
true.
Nods his head at her.
He's like, good job.
Yeah, you won.
You took out all those fucking people.
Yeah.
Cool. So, I mean, I know that was like a really quick run through, and it was kind of muddy, but like, there's not... What I like about this movie is it doesn't take itself too seriously.
No.
It's not super deep.
Too not serious either.
Correct. It's right. It's not super deep to where you're like, what the fuck is this plot? Or it's not like Midsummer where it's just so intricate and detailed that it's very psychologically gripping. It just is a game of this family hunting this woman because they made a pact with the devil and they have to sacrifice her. And if they don't, they're going to die, and they die.
It's just fun.
Because she wins.
A fun movie.
Because you're just rooting for her the whole time, and she's such a badass in so many scenes. And also, it's pretty rare that we get a damsel in distress that can take care of herself.
Yes.
It's always like someone coming to kill. Like, let's just look at Laurie Strode, not in the new one when she's like ready for war in the from the 70s.
Yeah.
You know, they have to come kill him.
Dr. Loomis has to come shoot him through the window.
Exactly. Yeah. So all these women are being saved, but this woman saves herself.
Damn straight she does.
And she just smokes a cigarette at the end of it all, and that's that. So it's just, like, I sound like a broken record, but this movie was just so much fucking fun. And when it ended, I was like, I want to watch it again.
Right?
Let's go again. And our theater wasn't super full, but we cannot get away.
Fucking A. We have this one theater that is just a pain in the ass.
We go to one of two theaters. Yeah. One up north and one down south.
The one down south is always a pain in the ass.
I mean, it's a nice theater. It's got recliners. It's a big Cinemark. But the one up north is an Icon Cinemas, and it's brand new.
So nobody goes. Nobody knows about it.
Smaller theaters and bigger recliners, and it's just amazing.
So now let's introduce you to what we got to listen to the whole time while still loving this movie. So right next to me, I had this the whole time.
Which is so funny to me because
the whole fucking time.
The last fucking time we went to a movie, I had it next to me. Side. And yours was not just like, literally one time he or she was doing it so hard that it sounded like they were fucking laughing because she was like,
yes.
And I was like, what are you doing?
Time.
There were fucking vapors.
Two of them. We had one on either side.
Vape clouds coming from the left and the right.
Fucking vaping in the middle of this movie.
And we're at the top, so those clouds come up.
We had someone way down in the front. They must have had, you said they had a flashlight attached to their text.
So iPhone people, and maybe Android, I don't know, I've only ever had an iPhone since the iPhone came out, but sometimes you can turn on the setting when you get a text, the flashlight part will flash at you so that you get the visual that you got a text.
Whole theater. Just fucking flashing.
It looked like fucking lightning.
Yes. We're like, what the fuck is that over there?
Like, they finally turned it off, but it took like 5 or 6 text messages.
We had a lady right in front of us. Like, she didn't do this the whole time, which I will thank that. But there was one point where she goes, oh, fuck no. Loud.
Talking to the movie, yeah.
Jesus Christ. You had like the loudest popcorn eater on your side.
Oh my God, bro. And you know how I feel about that.
Yes.
Eating sounds, I cannot do, especially popcorn is so bad.
We can't do it at this theater, you guys. I don't know.
Yeah. I just... This is where we're going to see it, and I swear to...
Oh, God. It's going to be bad, dude.
I am not confrontational at all. I will literally go to all means necessary to avoid any sort of confrontation. You know. It is my favorite movie. Part 1, I will lose my shit if they ruin It Chapter 2 for me. I will be like... Excuse me, I have waited 2 goddamn years for this movie, so you're going to shut the fuck up for the next 3 hours, or you're going to get the fuck out. I am a professional movie critic, and I have waited.
Right? That is how I feel now. When people are in our theater messing up, I'm like, I'm fucking working. Can you fuck off?
This is not for fun anymore. This is professional, exactly. And you are ruining it.
I am trying to make mental notes right now to tell my viewers.
And you don't vape green apple.
Fucking... Oh, that was it too! I looked at you. I was like, wait, are you smelling the produce? It smelled like someone brought in bananas or apples or something. I was like, fucking... Is someone cutting an apple down there? What the fuck is going on?
Like, it's the vape.
I was like, that makes so much sense. But seriously, I thought someone brought in a full-ass apple that they're just, like, slicing down there.
Nope. Man, sometimes, like, this movie was fun, but sometimes just, like... it's infuriating at the same time, but talking about it after, movie crowds are just so interesting. Who didn't teach you respect?
Right? God damn.
Well, I give this movie a 4 out of 5.
Oh, absolutely 4 out of 5.
It was so fun.
Please go see it, you guys.
I mean, it wasn't like perfect.
No.
But it wasn't
fun.
It wasn't trying to be perfect.
No.
And that was a thing. It wasn't like pseudo deep or anything like that. It was just fun, and the main character was great, and she was likable, and she was a badass, and she was a strong woman, and I was like, yes! So I'm buying this when it comes out on Blu-ray.
Yeah, absolutely.
A big fan. I can't wait to watch it again. Well, thank you guys for joining us, and I do apologize. We apologize for the rant in the beginning, but literally right before we recorded, we were reading about all of this in depth, and it was really hard to go from us being very doom and gloom to recording about a movie.
Yeah, we just wanted to get it out and talk about it.
It felt very important and pressing, and then it felt just wrong to just be like, all right, shut it off and let's talk about a movie. Yeah, so I'm, we're not going to do that every time. This will be it. Our piece is said, and we hope that doesn't turn you off. I even as somebody that doesn't eat meat or dairy, my husband eats meat and dairy. It's not something that I look at people and I'm like, you're a terrible human being. I would never. But him being around me, he has cut his consumption significantly. Just eating what I eat at dinner sometimes.
I mean, maybe even just a day off a week. Do you really need to eat meat
Meatless
every day?
Mondays, bro.
Yeah, come on.
Easy. So that aside, and including that, I guess, we really appreciate you guys being here and listening to us. I feel like we've made... It's small, but it's a really cool community, and a lot of you guys engage with us, and there have been a few from the beginning that I feel like, even if they don't agree with us, would listen to what we had to say, and I hope it just makes you think. And we are completely open to talking about this. However, I'm not really one to debate, because I feel like you can't really change somebody's viewpoints that much,
We're at 4,000 downloads, right?
Yes, we just hit 4,000 streams.
Thank you, guys.
It was really cool because we had, just to be completely transparent, I don't include our YouTube in this because our YouTube is very small, but it took us a long time. We hit 1,000, and that was really cool. We hit that a couple months in, and then I feel like it took us
forever,
months and months and months to get from 1 to 3,000, and I don't know what happened. Who found us and why, but we went to 3,000 to 4,000 in a month, and we're sitting at almost 500 streams in a week we may hit, and that's the most we've ever gotten. And so, that is not to brag, like we're very small.
That's still so small, you guys, but we are so excited.
We are insignificant.
Yes.
However, it is really cool to see engagement, and I got an email from a listener recently,
which is really cool.
Yes, Jessie, thank you so much. I can't wait to talk about your story. And so we really are so passionate about this, and we really love you all, and we love that we can sometimes talk about things that aren't horror related and feel listened to at the very least without being judged by our listeners. And I have never felt that way with anybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
So thank you
guys for being nice.
Yes. Thank you for letting us use this as one, talking about horror, and just like 2 seconds talking about something that's important and scary. And that's it. So you can hang out with us or critique us if you must on our beliefs. Please don't, but I'll listen, but I won't debate. So you can send them in if you want, but more than anything, come hang out with us and let's talk about horror movies at Facebook and Instagram, The Exorcisters Podcast. You can find us on Twitter at The Exorcisters, and you can always find our website. It's exorcisters.com. We've got all of our episodes, what we're doing for the month, streaming services coming in and going from horror movies, and just some fun stuff like that. So check it out if you're more interested in some extra things on top of our podcast episodes.
Yeah, absolutely. Until next time, stay creepy.